I have not cut my hair in 5 years. 5 whole years. When I first started my hair length journey, I trimmed my hair because I wanted almost like a diva cut. I wanted it to be layered, and there was damage. At that point, I was not taking care of my hair. It was all kinds of a mess, and I wanted to start fresh and clean. So I trimmed my hair at the beginning of my hair journey. And from that point onward, I have not cut my hair. And in the beginning, I didn't know if I could do that. Because in the beginning, when you're a baby in this natural hair community and you're coming from Eurocentric European hair practices, I honestly did not know. I did not know what was right, what was wrong. I was learning it, and I was learning this information from YouTube people. And most of the information I took blindly because I trusted where these women were in their hair journey. But the one piece of advice that I could not get on board with because it did not make sense to me was the concept of constantly trimming my hair. Didn't make sense because I'm like, my hair grows on average 1/4 of an inch per month. You want me to cut off like 1/2 inch to 1 inch every quarter? I'm no mathematician. I'm not good at math. But if I do that, that tells me that I'm not gonna be able to get much length retention. But at the same time, I wasn't sure if that was true. A lot of my hair journey has been trial and error. I wasn't sure if that was true. I wasn't sure if that was the right practice. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be right in that. And there was one hair YouTuber, I forget her name off the top of my head, but I'll insert an image of her. She's no longer with us, unfortunately, but she was such a pivotal person in my early days of YouTube. And she was the first and only YouTuber that I ever saw or heard say that she does not believe in trimming her hair, that she does not trim her hair. And I was like, you don't trim your hair, girl? She's like, why would I trim my hair? It's like she said something like, I understand if you have to trim your hair because it's damaged and your ends are in real bad shape and they're really, really thin, then you should go ahead and trim it. But she's like, but I take care of my hair. I know how to take care of my hair where my hair is not damaged, so why would I trim it? She said it like that. She was just like, but I take care of my hair. And my hair is healthy and my ends are good, so why would I trim my hair? And I was like, ooh! Like, you can do that? That's allowed? That was the first time I'd ever heard that position. And that changed everything for me. And her hair was beautiful. Like, beautiful. Beautiful. At that time in my life, I had never seen hair like that. Truly, I had never seen hair like that. She was the first YouTuber that I came across in the hair community, and she was the one that really made me believe that I could grow long, healthy 4C hair. And when she said that she didn't grow her hair and she had been on her hair growth journey for, I don't even remember how many years, but it had been a long time. And I was like, well, if she hasn't trimmed her hair and she's been on her hair journey for, it had been, I think, at least 5 years. I was like, well, then I don't have to either. I believe you, girl. I believe you. I'm going to follow you. The excessive need for the natural hair community to trim is still coming from, in my opinion, is still coming from that Eurocentric way of looking at our hair. A lot of times when I see 4C girls saying, oh, I need to trim my hair, I need to trim my hair, look at my hair, I have to cut it, I have to cut it. They're not taking a very, very close look at each individual strand and assessing whether or not that strand is split and then cutting it. They're taking a look at ends like this, looking at them like that and being like, look at that, that looks bad. I need to cut that. I have 4C hair. Even after straightening my hair in a matter of minutes is always going to start to do what 4C hair loves to do, which is what? To start to revert back to its original coily form and tangle up on itself. And when it does that, it looks what? Raggedy. It looks rough. It looks like unhealthy. But that's because you have years of brainwashed images in your mind of healthy ends need to be straight and blunt and da-da-da-da, which is crazy. We talk about being on a natural hair community, but a part of the natural aspect that we ignore is how does our hair grow naturally? I'm not talking about the texture. I'm talking about how does it grow in regards to length. Let's say you get a blunt haircut and you put your hair away into a protective style for months. You give yourself a blunt haircut, all of your hair is the exact same length, and then go look at your hair again in 4 months. And let's say in that 4 months you didn't do any heat styling, you didn't do any manipulation to your hair ends, you put it away into some protective style where nothing could get to it. And you were to look at your hair again in 4 months. I'm telling you, your hair, even though it would have grown, it will not be the exact same length, because our hair naturally grows in a tapered way. On top of that, our hair can look thinner on the ends because it's much harder for us to get all of our hair to line up straight in one direction. And when that happens, it ends up making the ends of our hair look much thinner. For example, the last video I filmed, after I watched that video, I was like, ooh, girl, your ends, your hair, horrible, super thin, what's going on? Where did all this breakage come from? Like, when did that happen? What's going on? And I even told my husband a couple nights later, because I kept thinking about how my hair looked in that video. And I kept thinking about how throughout the week, I was like, oh man, my hair, it's hard to detangle right now. It's being a pain in the butt. I was like, I gotta cut my hair. I gotta cut it. I gotta trim it. I gotta cut off like 4 or 5 inches. I know I thought that I was against trimming, but I must be wrong, because look at my hair. It's been 5 years, and look at these, like, I need to cut off like 6 or 7 inches, because look at how thin these ends look. They look horrible. And he said, you can do whatever you want with your hair, but I just want to remind you that you always say that you shouldn't go and cut your hair when you're feeling emotional, that you should give yourself like 24 hours to really evaluate if that's what you need to do. And I was like, that's why I married you, because I do say that, and you are right. And so the next day I said, I'm having a hair day, because believe it or not, I hadn't even washed my hair yet. I had taken my hair out of braids and I hadn't done a full wash day. I was just doing twist outs and wondering why my hair was being difficult throughout the week. So yesterday I did a full hair day, started at 6 in the morning, did a full wash day of good detangling session in the morning before I washed my hair. That took me 2.5 hours. Then I actually did a good wash. I did an awesome protein treatment or bond treatment, whatever you want to call it. Then I did a nice deconditioning session, and then I actually blow dried my hair with my Revere, and then I straightened it. And I said, once I do all of those steps, I'm gonna take a look at my hair, and I'm gonna be able to see if I actually do need to cut it, and if it looks different from what it looked like in that past video. And my hair looks like this. But in the video that I did last week, it looked like that, where the ends are all thin. And I was like, oh, thank God I didn't cut my hair. Thank God I didn't cut it, because I would have been cutting good length for no reason. After I had done all of that and I finished my hair and I saw how it was looking, I went to my husband and I was like, you were right. I don't tell him that often, but you were right. I was being overly emotional based off of how I thought my hair looked in a hair video and how I felt like it was acting throughout the week when I hadn't even washed it and really moisturized it and really properly detangled it. I was prejudging it, and I was too hastily looking at it like, you don't look right, I need to cut you. That's what I think a lot of us do when it comes to trimming our hair, is we take a look at our hair when it's not even straight. We just look at the ends and we think, if our hair looks tangly, if it looks raggedy, if it looks dry, if it looks rough, then that means we should cut it. And that's where I say those thoughts are going back to the commonly held Eurocentric European way of looking at our hair. Our hair, we need to get used to the fact that our hair, even after being straightened, even after being moisturized, even after all of those good things, our hair is always going to look somewhat dry, somewhat tangled, somewhat matted, somewhat nappy, somewhat raggedy. It's okay. It's a characteristic of our hair. It's a characteristic of our ends. It doesn't mean that it's unhealthy. That's where I have a problem. That's where I get angry, because in this community now, it feels like we are still pushing ideas on how our hair is supposed to look that are against how our hair wants to look. Now, let me put this disclaimer out there before people come for me. I am not saying that if the ends of your hair are split, don't cut them. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying if you're going on a hair length journey, a difference in length throughout your hair is making it hard for you to style it, and it would be easier for you to detangle it and style it if it were shorter, then go ahead and cut it if that's what you feel is right. I am not saying to not cut your hair if you actually feel like it would be healthier for me to cut it. What I'm saying is, please don't feel pressured to constantly cut your hair every 3 months because you think that's what you have to do because your hair is either tapered at the ends or looking rough because that's what your hair texture looks like. Don't feel like you have to trim it. And if you do trim your hair, here's the other issue that people want to talk about. Here's the other issue that people don't want to talk about, including these hairstylists. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to always come at the hairstylist, but I feel like I have to sometimes. Here's the other issue that people don't want to talk about, including the hairstylist. If you look at your hair and every 3 months it is damaged and your ends are so severely messed up, we need to talk about why is that? What is it that you're doing to your hair? Could you be, for example, using combs on the ends of your hair? I think that what is really happening for a lot of women, because this is what I'm seeing in their YouTube videos over periods of time that are making them feel like they have to trim their hair, is they're using combs or brushes on the ends of their hair. And what happens when you take a brush or a comb on the end of your hair and you do this over time? It breaks it. It breaks off pieces, but it doesn't break off your hair evenly. It breaks off your hair unevenly. So then over 3 months, your hair looks super raggedy. You think it's split ends, but in reality, it's just mechanical damage being done to the ends of your hair. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to address that. But for any women that I'm seeing on YouTube that are like, trimmed my hair 3 months ago, gotta trim it again, gotta trim it again, gotta trim it again. I'm like, God, they just trimmed their hair 3 months ago, they gotta trim it again. Why? And then I look at how they manage and take care of their hair in those 3 months, and it's brush, 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 comb, 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 brush, 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 leaving your hair out, combing and combing and brushing, and then you're like, 3 months comes by again, they're like, wow, my ends, look at that. They're looking like they gotta be trimmed again. And I'm like, it's because of the comb, girl. It's because of the comb. It's because of the brushing. That's not the case for everybody. But I would ask yourself, if you're somebody who feels like your hair, you have to comb it every 3 months, because there's so much damage to your ends, are you using a lot of heat in those 3 months? Or are you combing it a lot? Because I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm not buying that these are just split ends. And if that is the case, take a look at each individual strand. Truly, don't just take the hair like that and look and say split ends. Take a look at each individual strand from that. Look at it closely. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. And really look and see, are these individual strands actually split? And if they are, how split far up are they? If those individual strands are like 1/8 of an inch split, why are you cutting all of this? If it's like this, I just hate that there's so much hatred towards our hair that when we look at it, if it doesn't look perfectly straight or perfectly even or perfectly smooth, we internalize that as unhealthy. I hate that. I hate it because it's a lie. And we need to expose the lie. I'm making this video for other people who also have doubts about the constant trimming, the narrative of what we are told with trimming, and feel like maybe I don't have to trim my hair all the time, but don't have enough voices or enough evidence of it can be possible. Now, my hair is not perfect. I'm not saying I'm the Dalai Lama or the Oprah of hair. But I will say is, I do think that for the most part, by my definition, my hair is healthy. I do think that my hair looks good. I do see that I have been able to consistently retain hair length year in and year out. I do know that I'm pretty much close to waist length. I might be at waist length. It depends on the angle. I don't think I'm close enough to call it waist length just yet. Maybe lower back length. And whereas my hair used to be like that length, I do know that I've been able to grow it. I do know that I've been able to retain it. And I've been able to do that over 5 years without not even one time cutting my hair. So to me, that's all the proof that I need to know that having healthy hair has less to do with cutting it and more to do with how I treat it, with how I take care of it, with the fact that I don't use brushes and combs, which makes it so that I'm not constantly ripping out the ends of my hair. But more important than that, I know that I am constantly working on my mindset of my hair. That when I see raggedy ends, nappy looking ends of my hair, and I get that instant like, it doesn't look right, I take some time. I take some time to reevaluate it and try to explain to myself, does your hair have to be all the exact same length, or do you want it to be? If you want it to be cool, girl, then go ahead and cut it, but does it have to be? And if you know that when you cut it, it's gonna continue to grow and you're gonna continue to grow in a tapered hairstyle, do you still wanna cut it? These are questions that I had to ask myself this past weekend when I saw that video. And when I had straightened it and my hair was like this, I was like, I think it looks beautiful. In spite of my hair not being perfect, it looks perfectly incredible, perfectly amazing for me, right? For what is good for me. You have to decide what's good for you. If you're somebody who does trim your hair every year, every 6 months, every 3 months, and that works for you, girl, keep doing it. If whatever you're doing is working for you and you are happy with where you're at in your current hair journey, keep doing it. The beautiful thing about YouTube is that you get to hear different people's opinions. You get to hear different perspectives and different alternative ideas. It doesn't have to all be one way. I'm talking to the people who feel like I'm cutting my hair a lot. I'm not happy with where I'm at in my hair growth journey. I feel like I have not been able to maintain any hair length, and I'm wondering why that is. Maybe consider cutting it less. Maybe consider that it's not necessary. Take a real good look at those ends and ask yourself, are these ends really actually unhealthy? Or do they just look like 4C hair? Only you can answer that question for you. In my opinion, I would say don't let no hairstylist, don't let nobody. Don't let your auntie, your mama, a hairstylist, your best friend, your dog. Don't let anybody tell you what you have to do to your hair if you disagree. If I were to walk into most salons right now, I really believe that they would tell me you gotta cut your hair. And I would say, thank you for your opinion, and walk right out. But I would never even walk in there, so it would never even happen. Nobody but me, but myself, decides what is healthy for me, what is good for my hair but me. But what I do is I take all the information from all people like myself on YouTube. I take all of that information in. I think about it, I evaluate it, I pick the things that I think would be applicable and helpful and healthy for me, and then I decide. Please share your opinions in the comment section. Just please, please, please be respectful of one another, and please don't attack people. Feel free to attack the idea, but even then, we don't have to attack the idea. We can have a debate and rebuttal back and forth in a healthy manner. It doesn't have to get nasty. We're all adults here, right? We all have lives, we all have opinions, it's fine. Let's just go back and forth and share ideas and share our own experiences, right? My path is not the only path. My way is not the only way. It's just one way, okay? It's one way. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching, for listening. I don't know if this video is going to come out before or after my straightening video, but I will be sharing, if it comes out, if I put this video out first, I will be putting out a video of how I straightened my hair. I think it looks amazing. I'm very proud of myself because I did not use a comb, and I've never seen a video of someone straightening their hair where they didn't have to do the whole combing method where they use the comb and then the hair straightener, and they I think it's called chasing the comb. I don't know what it's called, but regardless, I didn't use a comb in the entire process of straightening my hair, and I'm very proud of myself for that, because I wasn't even sure if that would be possible because I've never done it before and I didn't have a tutorial on how to do that. So I did it, and I think it came out great to my standard, and I think I did it in a healthy way. And yeah, I'm feeling really good with where my hair is at. It is the longest it's ever been in my life. It's the healthiest it's ever been in my life. I think my mindset on my hair is the strongest it's ever been in my life. I'm feeling really good about just where I'm at in my hair length, hair retention, hair health, hair growth journey overall. And it's cool to think that, like, my hair, it's just crazy to me that my hair could look like this. It's wild, because I remember back in the day getting weaves like in high school to look like this. And it's just really cool to me to think that I can have natural hair, and that once or maybe twice a year I could straighten it and get this kind of like look. I don't know. I never thought that could happen. So I'm excited that I could get this kind of look, and that I wouldn't have to do excessive heat. I wouldn't have to go to a Dominican blowout, and that I wouldn't have to use a comb. I could do it myself in a healthy, safe, natural way. So anyways, stay tuned for that video. It will be coming out soon. And until next time, take care of yourself.